Good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope all of you are fit and fine. Today we are going to revise figure of speech, and in our previous class we have revised simile, figure of speech. We have been seeing simile, figure of speech, then metaphor, figure of speech, and third one was personification. In personification, we have seen that a living creature is present in the non-living creature. Means inanimate objects and abstract ideas are treated like a living creature. Okay. Today we are going to discuss a new figure of speech, and the name of the figure of speech is apostrophe. Apostrophe. You have heard this word many times, that apostrophe s, apostrophe. Why we are putting apostrophe? No, actually no one knows. But by this figure of speech, we will try to understand in deep. Actually, in apostrophe, we address that person directly. In apostrophe, a direct address is done. A direct address to the person or to the non-living thing, to the personified objects. Okay. In personification, in apostrophe, we address directly. There is a direct address to the dead, to the personified objects, or to the persons who is absent. Okay. Means that the word personification, which we have studied earlier, that word is used here, that concept is used here, that in apostrophe there is a direct address to the inanimate objects, to the dead persons, to the absent person, or to the personified objects. And in the earlier class we have seen that we had personified death. In this we will see that these personified objects will be treated with the apostrophe. Where we are using apostrophe? We are using apostrophe for the direct address to what? In the personification we have seen inanimate objects. In this we will notice that apostrophe is used for the direct address to the dead, to the absent, or to a personified object or idea. Okay. In this we have seen that we have personified death, and in this sentence we have seen love had been personified. Okay. Apostrophe, note down. Apostrophe. apostrophe. Apostrophe and apostrophe is a direct address 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 to the dead and apostrophe is a direct address. We are addressing directly. No indirect method is used. Okay. And apostrophe is a direct address to the dead, to the absent, direct address to the dead, to the absent, or to a personified object. Or to a personified objects or idea. Apostrophe. An apostrophe is a direct address is a direct address to the dead, is a direct address to the dead, to the absent, direct address to the dead, to the absent, or to a personified object. Or to a personified objects or idea. Okay. Apostrophe means an apostrophe is a direct address to the dead, to the absent, or to a personified objects or idea. Idea also is there. Okay. Means in a person, by apostrophe you will direct address to the person, you will direct address to the person or to the dead person or to a personified objects. Direct address, no indirect method is attained. Okay. Let's see the example. First example is frailty. Frailty means weakness. Frailty. That name is woman. Frailty. That name is woman. Frailty. Thy name is woman. Okay. frailty, thy name is woman. Here, what we are doing? We are directly addressing the woman, or not? We are directly addressing the woman in the sense that we are saying that women are weak. And actually this line had been taken from the William Shakespeare, a renowned playwright and dramatist. William Shakespeare, in his play Hamlet, this sentence had used in the play Hamlet. He had said these words in the play Hamlet. He had said that frailty means weakness, and weakness is the thing which is present in the woman. Frailty, thy name is woman, and in this we are saying that frailty, here it is direct addressed, that weakness means woman. By pointing towards the woman, by pointing towards the weakness, frailty, here William Shakespeare want to point out towards the woman, direct address to the personified object or idea. This is personified idea, objects. Okay. Second is that, now I am going to rub this, note down all this thing. Milton, thou shouldest be living Milton, thou shouldest be living Milton, thou shouldest be living at this time. Milton, a famous playwright, a famous writer of the ancient time. Actually, his full name is John Milton. He had written an epic. The name of that epic is Paradise Lost. He had written Paradise Lost. This is an epic of the Britishers, and this consists of 16 parts. This Paradise Lost consists of 16 parts, 16 books. Books is 16. Okay. This Paradise Lost consists of 16 parts. Okay. Now here Milton had been personified, that Milton, thou shouldest be living. Milton, at this time you should be living, you should be alive, because this is not the right time. That's why here apostrophe is used in the sense that Milton had been addressed directly. Milton here had been addressed directly, that Milton, apostrophe, exclamation mark is there. Milton means you are addressing to the Milton only. Milton, thou shouldest be living, means you are addressing, you are directly addressing to the inanimate objects, or you can say that you are directly addressing to the Milton, and you are asking him that you should be living, you should be alive at this time. One thing, by two words you can identify which figure of speech is used. In figure of speech of apostrophe, direct address, and in personification, inanimate objects. Okay? Milton, here it is directly addressed. Now, next figure of speech is hyperbole. By the word only you will get the knowledge that hyperbole means when you are saying something in exaggeration, when you exaggerate anything, whenever you start saying the thing in an exaggerate manner, in a big manner, then you get the knowledge that hyperbole figure of speech is used. Whenever a thing is exaggerated, that is known as hyperbole. Okay? A hyperbole is an exaggeration or overstatement. Hyperbole is an exaggeration or overstatement for the sake of making a greater impression. Why you are hyperboling? You are hyperboling for creating a great impression. Okay? When we have seen that actually in our society only we always see that if a person is a clerk, then his family members will exaggerate his post and they will say that my uncle or my child is the manager of that department. Means here they are exaggerating the post. Here they are exaggerating the statement in order to create a great impression on you. That yes, see, her child is a great person. He is on a big post. Means the idea had been exaggerated in order to create a great impression on other person. Okay, that is known as hyperbole. Note down. Hyperbole. A hyperbole is an exaggeration. A hyperbole is an exaggeration. An hyperbole is an exaggeration. An hyperbole is an exaggeration or overstatement. exaggeration, overstatement, exaggeration or overstatement, exaggeration or overstatement for the sake of making a greater impression, for the sake of making a greater impression, for the sake of making a greater impression. Okay. A hyperbole is an exaggeration, and a hyperbole is an exaggeration. Is an exaggeration means increasing, you are elaborating, you are showing a big thing. A hyperbole is an exaggeration or overstatement. Exaggeration or overstatement. For what purpose you are hyperboling? For the sake of making a greater impression. This is the biggest thing. You are hyperboling, you are exaggerating a thing. For what purpose? For the purpose is that you want to show a great impression on the other person. Yes, see, he is on such a good post, big post. Okay. This all thing is not good thing, but whoever is doing all this thing, tell them, don't hyperbole. Then that person gets on, yes, this person knows hyperbole for figure of speech. A good impression by you. That person will say, yes, what I am doing, that thing is wrong, but what he has said, that person is a hyperbole. Means by saying all these things, your impression is hyperbole. Okay, good. Write the example. Oh Hamlet, oh Hamlet, thou hast left my heart in pain. Thy left, oh Hamlet, O Hamlet, thou, P-H-O-U, O Hamlet, O Hamlet, thou, T-H-O-U, O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart, O Hamlet, thou cleft my heart. In twain. O Hamlet. This is also a line which is taken from the William Shakespeare play. Because William Shakespeare is a famous renowned playwright. He had written a play, a drama that is known as Hamlet. In that Hamlet was the protagonist character. Her beloved name was Gertrude. He said that, "O Hamlet," means the lover of the Hamlet. Gertrude said that, "O Hamlet, thou cleft my heart in twain," means you have broken my heart into pieces. Okay, and in this what we are saying, that girl, that the beloved had exaggerated the sense by saying that thou cleft my heart in twain. Means she is exaggerating the idea. She is exaggerating the the sentence. She is getting the impression.